Welcome to the Grind to Greatness podcast, where we dive deep into the world of relentless determination, hard work, and unwavering dedication to help you unlock your full potential. We're your hosts, Jonathan and Joseph, and your mentors along this journey to greatness. Each week, we'll bring you inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical tips where we've turned our dreams into reality through sheer grit and resilience. Whether you're looking to excel in your career, improve your health and well-being, or simply level up in life, this podcast is your go-to source for strategies, motivation, and the mindset needed to achieve personal excellence. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Grind to Greatness. This episode is brought to you by Facts Over Fads Nutrition. Stop chasing quick fixes that don't work and don't last, and start getting real sustainable results and habits with Facts Over Fads Nutrition. Our coaches assess your needs from calories to macros, considering your health, allergies, and nutritional preferences. We build your programs based on your unique requirements that get continuously better as you grow with us and as you grow with your coach. Get customized meal plans, customized workouts, and coaching for real success. Enjoy a user-friendly app, 24/7 communication with your coach, and a one-stop shop to log all of your nutrition, workouts, and progress with Facts Over Fads. Let's optimize your health today. Head to factsoverfads.com to get signed up. Good morning.
Good morning. Is it morning for me?
It's morning for someone. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, you've only been up for 5 hours. It's fine.
I came across a, I don't know, was it a Facebook debate? Are you a morning person? Are you somebody who works out in the morning or in the evening? It was actually a reel. And it says the morning people who work out, and it's like Ken, the Barbie, he's all singing, he's all jacked. And then it's like the people who work out at night, it's like Joker, and it's insanity, they're crazy, depressed, right? Yeah. You know, which one are you? And I was just sitting there, somebody commented, I work out at 3 a.m., where does that put me? I was like, where does that put me? I don't know, that's a good question. Yeah. Is it morning? It would be morning, it would be considered morning.
Yeah.
1 in the morning, 2 in the morning,
sure.
3 in the morning. So that was I was like, no, it's 3 in the morning, dude.
Yeah, for sure. What's funny is you talk about like the jokers and the depressed people. Last Sunday, I got a membership at Crunch. It's 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So Sunday night, 8, 9 p.m., I'm in the gym working out, right? And I'm looking around, and it's a different crowd.
Yeah, it is.
It is a different crowd. And it was funny because I actually kind of missed it. When I got, my whole exercise career was always at night. So like in high school, I would go to school, I would go home, I would eat, and then I would go to like Lifetime Fitness at like 7, 8 p.m. I'd work out at night. I go to the military, I have military all day, I have school, I was a CPR instructor, I would go to 24-hour fitness at night. I get out, I work for Gold's Gym, training clients, going to school, training clients, and then after my last client was like 8 p.m., I would work out. And so it wasn't until probably the last 2 to 3 years where I started to work out in the morning, and kind of forgot about those demons that are in the gym at night.
Yeah.
It's wild because in the morning, everyone's a little bit more just like go with the flow, very cordial. You don't see much weird stuff in the morning when you go to the gym at 5 a.m.
Very routine people.
You see some weird shit in the gym at 9 p.m.
Yeah. What do you think is harder? Working out early in the morning? Look, let me specify early, right? Because early for some people is like 7 a.m. That's not early.
That's not early.
It all depends too. It's all relative. Let's just say 5 in the morning, right? 5 in the morning. If you're working at 5 in the morning, I say that's pretty tough. 5 in the morning or 9 p.m. at night? What's harder?
I would say 5 a.m. I would say waking up is probably harder than just walking out the door at 9 p.m. You know what I mean? Like you have a lot of excuses at night. You're also tired at night, but at least you're out of bed. You know what I mean? Getting out of bed at 4:30 in the morning is hard. And I think it's harder.
So, I don't know, man. I wake up at 3 in the morning. This shit's hard. It's always hard. It's never easy. The bed catches me. The couch catches me. The foam roller catches me. Like, I'll fall asleep anywhere at 3 in the morning. Yeah. So, I got to get straight to my pre-workout, and that's like my trigger of like, okay, I made it. It's literally like walking through a landmine, trying to get to my garage. And if I just take the wrong step, I'll fall asleep, bro. That's how hard it is in the morning times. It never gets easier. Sometimes you'll go through some momentum where it's like, I could just do it. But then You're never on those peaks. You're always through peaks and valleys, right? But at the same token, man, working on the evening time, you are taxed. You are mentally drained. You're mentally fatigued. You dealt with all the fires. You're exhausted. The last thing you want to do is go exert energy late at night when the only thing you probably want to do is fucking relax.
But see, and that's where like, I'm a night person. I've always been a night person. So like this, like, I don't know. It just makes more sense for me, and everyone's different. It makes more sense for me to like, that would be the easier options to go at night. Now, the problem is then I start to, I used to be able to, I can't do it anymore. I'm getting fucking old. But I used to be able to go to the gym at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, crush and pre-workout, have a killer workout, go home and pass out.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore. Sunday, when I worked out at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, pre-workout was at 6:30. Bro, I stared at the ceiling Sunday night.
That is wild.
Forever. I could not fall asleep.
People tell me it's like I can't have energy drinks past like 6:37. I'm like, dude, I could fall asleep with a
It's
bang
not
in my
energy drinks.
hand.
I can fall asleep with a bang in my
Dude,
hand.
I'm just all like,
it's pre-workout.
Out.
It's
Okay,
pre-workout.
okay.
Yeah. I don't know what, and the caffeine content is the same for a bang and like the pre-workout that I have.
It's that beta.
It's got to be something. But I have a bang. If I don't work out on the days I don't work out, I have 2 bangs, and my second bang is like 4 or 5 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then I push through and I work until like 8 or 9. But if I go work out that late and I have pre-workout, bro, I'm not sleeping.
I think it's a balance. I think the people who wake up super early in the morning think the people in the evening are crazy, and the people in the evening who wake up super early in the morning think they're crazy, because they're both hard.
Yeah.
Right? And it just depends on which one you choose. You can kind of build a little bit more resilience. But I was just wanted to pick your brain and see where you're at with that, because I know you wake up I know you work out like at that soft hour, like 8. 9. What is it?
5. Come on, 5.
Is it 5? Okay.
5, baby.
First, yeah.
If I don't go at 5, I'm not going.
I did develop a routine when I was in the Camp Gladiator phase I would do, because I'd wake up and immediately go train people, and then I would work out around 11. It's when I felt the fucking best. Like, absolutely, I was the strongest. I had food in my system. I was up. I was aware. I felt good. And when you go into that gym around that time, nobody's there but stay-at-home moms or like other like older gentlemen who are probably retired, and they're talking it up, which probably are the best times to go work out and network and talk. But man, let's jump into it. Today we're going to be talking about victim mentality. There's a lot of things that are happening to the world, and just a lot of things that I deal with personally in my career where I'm going to run into that a lot. And part of being a mental performance coach is breaking victim mentality. There's a lot of things I believe about it that I think it's just naturally wired in our brain to protect us from feeling the pain of the truth. And I think everyone is wired that way from growth. And then over time, as your parents and people around you, you can kind of cultivate, either you're going to be somebody who overcomes excuses and challenges and adversity, or you're going to become somebody who, or it gets nurtured into you of excuses from your parents, because they come up with excuses for you as well. So I think it's just naturally one way. And then as you grow older, you can kind of veer into whatever direction depending on your culture, right? Yeah. And so I want to always start off with these podcasts with quotes. So the first quote, the only quote, is going to be, you can have results or excuses, not both.
You can't have both.
You can't have both, man.
Yeah. And I just read this thing the other day. 50 Cent, the rapper, what is his name? Curtis Jackson, I think is his name, has a 27-year-old son.
I read that article.
Who he pays, almost 11 grand a month to, right? And the son was saying, it's not enough. I need more money.
Yeah.
And he's like, and 50's like, no, you're an adult. Go make your own money.
Yeah.
And so it's funny to think and make excuses or talk about something you don't understand. But a lot of people would say, oh, you're 50 Cent's son, like your life is so easy. And it probably is. But in his eyes, his victim mentality, his life is so hard. He needs more than 11 grand a month to do whatever it is he wants to do. Yeah. But he won't go do it himself. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that's mind-boggling to me. And I have some friends from high school. It was kind of the same way, that his parents were so well off. and they were so spoiled. Now, they were very strict, but they would always just give them what they want at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So no matter how strict they were being, if the kid did it or didn't, they were still going to get whatever they wanted. And to this day, both of their sons are doing absolutely nothing with their life.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling to me. You grew up, you had everything you ever wanted. Money was not an option. You played every sport. You had the new cars. You had new clothes. You had all this stuff. And then here you are as an adult, struggling. And I don't know. I'm not a parent. You'll probably be the expert on this. But what's that balance look like when raising children of, I do want you to have a better life than me, but I can't baby you so much that you don't learn how to do these things on your own.
Yeah, there's an evolution. Growing up, struggling, my first mission as a parent was to give my kids everything I didn't have. Mm-hmm. And I held on to that for a while until I got into entrepreneurship and realized, well, life is really hard when you try to make it on your own. Mm-hmm. And then you start surrounding yourself with people who are open-minded, people who are excelling in life in different areas, and you start to look at and find the clues. Your success always leaves clues. And the mindset is always the starter base, right? And then I started to realize it's how hard it actually was, how hard life actually was if you weren't resilient, if you weren't resourceful, if you weren't relentless. I call it the 3 R's. Mm-hmm. And just it's the 3 R's to be just somebody in life who can fucking make it no matter what, in any scenario or circumstance. And it's you got to be relentless. Mm-hmm. That means you got to have the no quit. You got to be able to do whatever it takes. And you got to have just the fucking mental endurance to keep pushing. You just got to be fucking ferocious and relentless for that thing. Yeah. The second is going to be, you got to be resourceful. You aren't going to have everything needed to be able to build what you're trying to build. And the only thing you start with is you. You are the tool. And you have to start sharpening these other tools around your tool belt to be able to execute what you're trying to execute. So your ducks are never going to be lined up in a row. Mm-hmm. You're always just going to have to just go with what you have, and over time put the practice in, and you're going to build skills. Mm-hmm. The life is about building skills. The people who build skills are the people who add more value to themselves, which create more income, which create more opportunities to do other things. Right. And the last thing is you have to be fucking resilient. Now, it's not the same thing as relentless. You have to be resilient. Mm-hmm. That means you got to be willing to eat adversity, and you got to be able to want it. That's the only thing. There's a big difference. Sorry, my phone just going off like a mug. But resilience. Ooh. So resilient people are somebody who just can't handle, aren't people who just can handle adversity. They want it. Mm-hmm. So they figured out the secret. The secret is the lessons and the nuggets to be able to advance the next level are always going to be in the adversity. And so now I crave feedback. I want the adversity. I am prepping my mind to face adversity. When I hit that failure, I say good. Yeah. I say good. Yeah. And so that's the gap. That is the true separation from all different people, is the more often I can face failure and the more often I can say good, I'm already bypassing everyone, because as soon as they hit that adversity and that opposition, they stop. Mm-hmm. They let their feelings dictate their actions, and it takes them a while to recover. The whole day can go by, and they can string another whole day of bad days, and then they can let the whole week, and some people let months go by of like, man, this has been a shitty season, right? Well, now if I lose, I win. If I win, I win. Bro, unstoppable. You're fucking winning no matter what. Yeah. And I shorten the gap from when I hit that mistake, I can take positive, productive action from it immediately. Yeah. Now, sometimes it may take a little bit, a couple more missed plays, but if I can string it somehow in that day to still find a way to win, I win. Right. And so those are the 3 R's. If you can develop those into your children.
Hit me with them one more time.
It's going to be, you need to be relentless. Mm-hmm. You need to be forgiving.
No, 3 R's. Relentless?
No.
Oh, sorry.
What I'm talking about is, I was about to say another explanation of it if you were going to type a brief explanation. Relentless is never willing to give up. Mm-hmm. You got to be resourceful. You got to be able to use what you have, which is you. Mm-hmm. Okay? and you got to find a way.
Yeah.
Now, the last one is resilience. You got to be able to eat shit, eat adversity, and not just be able to face it. You got to want it.
Yeah. So I wanted to pull these up so I have them so we can like dive into each of these topics, how it pertains to like the victim mentality, right?
Yeah.
And so in this world, we're always, and I made a post about this to all my clients. So we have about 400 clients right now in our Facebook group. And I told them, careful looking for accountability to avoid responsibility. And so that's part of the victim mentality. I need someone to hold me accountable. I just can't do it, blah, blah, blah. Like you're already playing victim. You're already setting yourself up for failure. So if you're talking about resourceful, you said the first resource is yourself. Mm-hmm. And so being the first, putting that out there into the world, building that energy upon yourself of saying, it's just me. All I've got is me, but it's all you need. Yeah. And even if you lose, you win, right? And so, but so many people, they think of failure as, oh, I just better try something different. They never double down. They never try again. Yeah. It's like, oh, I can't wake up at 5 a.m. to go work out.
I'm just not good at it.
I'm just not going to do it. Try again and again and again and again. Like, and then there's so many systems, and we've talked about them before, where put your phone across the room. So when the alarm goes off, you can't just hit snooze. You have to get up and get out of bed. Use that app that you were using. You had to solve 14 math problems before your alarm will go off, right? Yeah. Like there's options out there that will get you out of bed, but we just never do it. We don't even look for those free resources. Yeah. To help you be successful. And it could be anything. And we have our challenge that's starting tomorrow, our holiday nutrition challenge. And I'm going to send them a message today. That's like, have you even thought about, have you even, projected an idea of what this week 1 is about to look like? Yeah. Or are you just blindly meal prepping, actually think about what your week normally looks like compared to what it needs to look like to be successful. Mm-hmm. Because again, when your coworker offers you this 300 calorie coffee, 400 calorie coffee, are you going to say yes or no? Yeah. When your team wants to go out to eat for lunch, are you going to say yes or are you going to say no? What are you going to do when these things come up and you're going to play victim? You're going to say, well, I had to, my team invited me. Yeah. Well, they bought me that coffee. I couldn't say no. Yeah. Right? What are you going to do to not be the victim, and how are we going to build resources and how are we going to build strategies to get you there, and make this easier? Because I think in the beginning, everyone always asks me and you like, oh, it must be so easy, or I can't do that, or whatever. And like, bro, like our life is set up so simple, so strategic that like it's not that we have the most discipline in the world. It's just that we remove all of those distractions. Yeah. And we talk about it all the time, but someone was talking about a Super Bowl party yesterday. Bro called me. It was like, hey, we're gonna have a Super Bowl party, yada yada. And I was like, the Super Bowl's coming up? Yeah. He's like, no, bro. I was like in like January, February. I was like, oh, damn. I was like, I had no idea. I was like, one, I had no idea what week we're on in the football season, yeah. And I had no idea when the Super Bowl was. But 3, you, and he's a client, and I'm like, you can't even plan or prepare your week to be successful in your health and fitness goals, but you can plan and prepare a party for February? Yeah. I was like, bro, your mentality is fucked up. Yeah. Like just you're already
prioritizing the wrong things, right?
It's so crazy. But again, when he goes and fails, he's gonna play victim. And I'm like, you can't play victim if you're setting up a Super Bowl party 4 months early. Yeah. But you can't even plan this week's nutrition?
It's the same exact thing. The way you set up that football party is the way you're going to set up your week.
Yeah.
What are the items I need to buy for this party? Oh, what are the items you need to buy for this week?
Yeah. What time are people going to show up? What time are you going to go to the gym?
What time are you going to go to the gym? It's the exact same thing. I think so. First of all, like the number one way to be able to break any habit, victim mentality is a habit. All right, and the more you use it, the stronger that thread becomes. You have to become aware. And so a lot of my athletes, majority of them all are victims, right? Because they have not been trained to be anything other. Even though they're athletes, victim mentality is your ability to easily come up with excuses of why you can't do something. Mm-hmm. There is no other options, right? And so you look towards blame because the mind triggers, oh, the truth hurts. I don't want to go there, right? So it's going to find a way, your mind's going to find an excuse to make yourself feel better so that way you don't feel the pain, right? It's not taking ownership. It's not being coachable. It's not listening to feedback. And it's not listening to feedback because you feel like it's not your fault. And so the baseline of it is either you own it or you're not owning it. Like that's the baseline of victim mentality. You're either owning it or you're trying to put it on somebody else.
Right.
And your mind has those two voices. It's going to have a winner's mentality, an ownership mentality, or it's going to have the victim mentality where it's going to feed you the excuses that sound amazing. Because it's comfort. Your brain has two pathways. Yeah. There's a path of resistance and there's a path of comfort. Your mind always wants to protect you. It's going to take the least path of resistance. So the story it comes up with, it sounds amazing. I'm rolling with that. Yep. It wasn't my fault. Yep. No. There was nothing I could do about this. And I can't control him. Yeah. Right? It makes sense. Or it's harder to say it is my fault. I could have done these reminders for this other person. I could have communicated more clearly. I could have set the expectation. I could have led more by example. That is pain. But that's where you stretch. That's where growth is, right? And that's where success is. Comfort, excuses, no growth, no success. Ownership, stretching, discomfort, growth. And I think it's just really hard for an athlete to recognize when this is happening because they never practiced awareness. So cool thing about awareness, it's a skill. Everything's a skill. And if you don't intentionally practice it, you can't build that skill. And so if you aren't aware of something, it's going to impact you. If you are aware of something, you can now impact it. That's massive because once I aware, like, oh, red light.
Yep, there it is.
There's an excuse. Oh, here's my pathways. Right. Now I'm aware. Oh, fuck. Now I don't want to be a little bitch and take excuses because now I'm aware of actually what's happening. I know what my brain's trying to do, right? Oh, red light, stop. Take a deep breath. Here's comfort, here's feelings, or here's a standard. What are your values? I value ownership. I don't want to do it, but I know I got to do it. And that takes practice.
And I think that's like to pause right there on ownership. So many people don't even want ownership. Yeah. They want zero responsibility. They want zero control. They want zero power over whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. And they just want to like point the finger and blame. And so that is positive. And you have to start with ownership. And so when let's say you have a weight loss goal and you've tried everything under the sun, right? And you've tried it for a week, you tried it for a month, whatever the case may be, nothing sticks. And you immediately go to it's because I'm old. It's my menopause. It's my hormones. Yeah. It's my PCOS. It's my this. It's my that. And it's like you immediately just diverted all ownership to that thing. Like, so PCOS owns you now. Menopause owns you now. Instead of saying, oh, you know what? I actually didn't, follow the plan as closely as possible. I actually missed a lot of my workouts because I was tired. I actually, didn't get the sleep that I was supposed to get, right? All of these issues play a role. And so I was listening to Jocko, and he said, man, I was having a really good conversation with a really smart person, and it was about missing a workout. And, this smart person started listening to all this research about, missing one workout doesn't matter. You're going to be okay as long as you still do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and then I realized that really smart person was fucking wrong. And that really smart person was also me talking to myself.
Oh,
and he was like, I was trying to convince myself that it was okay to miss a workout. Yeah. I was trying to convince myself to take the easy way out because I was tired, because I was sore, because my body hurt. I was trying to convince myself that it's gonna be okay. And all of the things I was telling myself, all the research articles were correct, but it was wrong. And because I know, like in my world, ownership, discipline, stay true to the plan, stop making excuses, go, 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 go. Because again, if you look for an excuse, you will always find an excuse. Yeah. You will always find a reason to not train as hard. You will always find a reason to miss that workout. You will always find a reason, whatever you look for, you will find. And so he was like, I was arguing with a really smart person, and the really smart person was wrong. Yeah. And the really smart person was me.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And so, we all do it. And Elaine Norton says it too. He goes, don't try to out-science hard work. He goes, so many people are worried about the perfect repetitions, the perfect sets, the perfect workouts, the perfect this. What does science say? What does this say? And he goes, all you're trying to do is talk yourself out of working hard. He goes, you want bigger legs? Squat heavier, squat more.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Like, stop looking for the science to take an easier approach to get bigger legs.
Yeah.
You know? And again, it's everywhere. It's financials, it's religion, it's relationships. Like, people play victim everywhere.
Yeah. You can win in one area, but you can play victim in other areas. It moves around, right?
And we talk about that a lot with weight loss, right? And so many people have the discipline to go to work every day. So many people have the discipline to be loyal in a relationship. So many people have the discipline to be a good parent. But you're 400 pounds. Yeah. Where's your discipline around food? Where's your discipline around fitness, right? So it doesn't necessarily cross, boundaries or whatever.
Which is why I like excellence.
Industries, right?
Because excellence demands you to be your best, not just some of the time, all the time.
Yeah.
And that is constantly stretching you, right? That's why I like it, is because I got to be my best as a father. I got to be my best as a husband. I got to be my best as a fitness person. I got to be my best as a mental performance coach. I got to be my best in my own life. Like, everything I do, be my best in my faith, business, everything causes irritation for me because I'll know I'll never fucking make it. But the fact that I'm just willing to show up and just get better, that stretch is that growth. So it's never ending. And now I look forward to it, right? Yeah. But I want to give people a little strategy, right? One, you got to become aware of it. And all right, you got to become aware of it. You got to start practicing that muscle. The strategy is called signal lights. It's a mental performance strategy. It's when to recognize when your mind is about to turn against you. All right, when do you start facing that fork in the road? You take a deep breath, right? And then you tell yourself what you want to do. Not what you want. You tell yourself what you need to do, not what you feel like doing, right? You know you need to change your body language, right? Because your body language is going to reflect your energy, and you have poor body language, you have poor performance. So it's called signal lights, and it's something that's practiced as focus. So it's called green, yellow, red. Green, you're fine. You're in control. You're fucking probably performing well in your day, right? Nothing's bothering you. It's a green light, just go, right? You're free. You don't have any stress. Yellow light, you spilled coffee on yourself. You threw it in the dirt. Coach yelled at you. All right, your parents got mad at you. Yellow light. Uh-oh. Your mind is going to start telling you, victim, it's going to start pouring an excuse. Oh, my mom don't know what she's talking about. Oh, this coffee spilled on me is going to be the bad day for the rest of the day, right? Right there, when you see yellow light, that's where you have to stop. And you have to breathe, and you have to tell yourself what you need to do. What are your standards? What do I need to do to keep moving forward, right? And then you just keep practicing that. Before you go red, you don't ever want to go red. If you get a red light, that means you've already strung the misplays together. It's chaos. You've already listened to the victim mentality voice. And you didn't listen to the winner's voice because there's more discomfort. But if you start at least practicing the signal lights, oh, yellow light. Oh, yellow light. Then you start recognizing that voice. Because that voice always shows up, but if you aren't aware of it, then it's just in the background. Yeah. I like this. I had to redefine these two words, listening and hearing.
Yeah, very different.
Because I had to like Google it, and because I wanted to know the difference, because a lot of people hear, but they don't listen. And I was like, all right, Jay, find the definition. Let's get very granular so I can explain this. Hearing is, I hear the music in the background. I hear it. And that's how people live their life. They hear that little voice in their ear. They hear it. But if they stop to listen to that voice, then you can become aware, and then you have a choice. Then you're giving yourself a chance to win, because right now it's just one road. It's victim. It's the excuse. But once you start learning to listen, your listening skills are going to get stronger, and then you open that pathway of like, oh wait, there is another route.
And you can even take this back to like the green, yellow, red, right? And so that yellow light might be aches and pains. The yellow light might be clothes aren't fitting. The yellow light might be it's getting harder to tie my shoes. The yellow light might be, why am I out of breath at the top of the stairs?
Yeah.
The yellow light, right? You hear it. You hear those things going off, but you're not listening, bro.
Yeah, you're not listening to it.
Listening to it, and you are not making a change, right? And so it's funny. everyone's like, I don't, we send out these questionnaires to our clients, and so many times people be like, I don't know how I got here. I don't know how this 20 pounds came out of nowhere. I'm like, no,
You fucking ignored it
you
every
ignored
day.
it. You ignored it. You heard it,
Yeah.
but you did not listen.
Yeah.
It just didn't come out of nowhere, right? Clothes started getting a little bit tighter, so what did you do? You started wearing more fitness outfits that were stretchy, or you didn't wear those clothes again because you didn't like the way you looked at it. You just ignored it. You just created a victim way to not face the facts, right? And I made a post a while ago that was like, if you look in the mirror naked and you aren't happy, like that's your sign to go fix it. Like, look in the mirror. Are you happy? No? Okay, what are we gonna do to be happy, right? Because that level of confidence and that level of security within yourself will bleed into other people in a positive mindset. And so if you wake up every day and you are unhappy with yourself and you don't feel good in your own skin, like that's gonna wear on other people. That's gonna wear on other areas of your life, with work, with faith, with relationships, whatever the case may be, because it's just because you aren't happy with yourself, right? And to wrap this all up, like the election just happened, right? And you just see crazy people posting crazy stuff. And you're just like, are you really, like, you've got to be really upset with yourself to post that nasty shit. That has nothing to do with you. That has nothing to do with the people you're dogging on. Like, what's going on in your life that allows you to treat people like that, right? And then they play victim. And everyone's just like, well, government this and laws that and regulation this and money that and economy this and religion that and faith this. And I'm like, what is going on in your world that allows you to just put the ownership on all of these other people in politics, of these policies that are in place? Like, you accept zero responsibility for your life.
Winners find a way.
It does. And so many, like, I listen to a lot of successful people and they're like, you know what, doesn't matter who was going to win the election. I'm still going to wake up the next day and I'm still going to go right back to work. Like, it doesn't change anything about what I'm trying to accomplish.
You control what you can control. You let go what you can't. I can't control it. Cool. Fuck. What I need to do. Well, I still got to wake up and work out tomorrow. I still got to wake up and fucking be a father. I still got to wake up and do my job to my best fucking ability.
And are the things you're worried about, are they even applicable to you, your family, your relationships? Are they even applicable? Like, do they even matter? Like, people like are stressed about wars in other countries that we're not even a part of, that they're not even a part of, that had zero impact on your circle, right? But yet you're treating other people like shit because they don't agree with this war that's going on that you're not even a part of. And again, it's like dialing back your priorities. And also understanding that, like, if you don't put yourself in the grit, if you don't put yourself in the whatever we're trying to do, you'll never fully understand the issue. Right. And so a lot of times, again, to your point, people will avoid reflection. People will avoid that ownership. People will avoid it because they don't really want to know.
Because the pain.
It's so painful. Like, I don't really
Average people
know.
run away from pain. Winners fucking look for it because they see the gold in it. There's gold in there.
They'll bitch about it. They'll complain about it. They'll point the blame elsewhere, but they don't want to actually experience it themselves. And so I want to bring it back to these 3 R's, which is what I love: relentless, resourceful, resilient. And so the last one that we haven't really talked about yet is resilience. And so how do you fail, and keep going? And when do you think, with that process, does the victim start to turn into less victim?
So you got to put yourself in a situation to fail more often, and that's really hard because nobody likes that feeling of failure. So it's just a mind. It's you flipping the switch in your mind of instead of running from it. I just made a video about it. People run from failure, but really successful people, high performers, elite athletes understand that failure is your friend. If you just let it in and sit with it, it's trying to give you the answer, man. If you let failure in and you sit with it, what you'll notice is it's not that scary. It's not that scary. It's actually more scared of you, of the day you actually open the door. Right? It's like that chihuahua that would chase you and fucking bark at you, and it's like, oh, and then you turn around and it fucking comes running off. That's failure. That's fear. It's just, it's way more scared of the day you turn around and say, what's up? Come here.
Yeah.
Come here. Step up, right?
Yeah.
And then you can start bullying failure and you turn it upside down, take the change out of its pockets because it's the gold.
Yeah.
And so the 3 R's, there's 3 R's on almost everything. I love 3 R's because there's a 3R process to actually take productive action and move forward. So the first strategy is, one, you have to become aware, signal light, start practicing when you see those negative thoughts happen, right? And then you can open up the path. Now, still, you might still lose, right? But you're just building awareness, something that you didn't have, okay? The second way is, now how do you take productive action? It's the 3 R's: reset, reframe, and redirect. Reset with the breath, all right? Because right now you're in survival mode. Your brain's not logically thinking, all right? It's trying to flight, or freeze, right? All right, bring it back down. Take a deep breath. How do you do that? You're trying to lower your heart rate, so you're able to get yourself out of that mindset. Hey, you're okay, dude.
Yeah.
You don't need to run, okay? Yeah. Second thing is reframe. Good. After a bad, shitty situation, there's a lot of different reframing techniques. You say good. You can say, so what, now what? So what, now what?
Yeah.
Right? And then from there, you can redirect that negative emotion that you're feeling and take positive, productive action from it. So now you start leveraging the negative energy and you start pushing it towards positive, productive action versus keep pushing towards negative, productive action and, dwelling.
Yeah.
And so that is the practice to take massive action moving forward. Reset, reframe the negative, turn it into a positive, and take positive, productive action from it. That is the most powerful key to being a resilient person, is, once again, when I lose, I win. When I win, I win. You're fucking unstoppable. If you just download that mindset, you won't get there first if you don't do awareness.
Right.
Because you got to start practicing it, right? And then you start practicing the other 3 R's that take positive, productive action when negative shit happens. And that's when your whole life will change. Because now you're fucking just winning all over the place.
And it's problem solving. It's all we're doing, right? We notice an issue, and instead of running from it, we sit there with it and we say, okay, what failed? How did it fail? Why did it fail? And what can I do differently to not fail? And so when you're talking about, when you start to reframe your mindset, when you start to pause, take a deep breath, reflect, and then you look at, okay, I've got 2 options to go. By default, if you had never reflected, you'd always take that victim route, right? But now that you pause, now that you thought through it, now that you calmed yourself down, you can see the other path.
Yeah.
You can see where
it's
you
more
need
clearly,
to go.
right?
Yeah.
Because when you're elevated, it's foggy.
Yeah.
You just see one route, man. You see you see red. You see, let's go that way, right? But when you're able to take that deep breath, it's probably the most powerful mental performance tool that's underutilized. Because people just breathe naturally, but if you understand why you're breathing, that's where you get the power from. You're breathing to bring your mindset back down into the present moment. Because right now it's elevated and it's thinking about all the worst shit. It's thinking about all the future shit that ain't even happened yet. Or it's thinking about all the past shit that's making you depressed. It's the ability to bring you back into present. I'm right here.
Yep. And I think that's why I love exercise for that reason, because again, this is part of, I grabbed a weight, I'm doing 8 reps. You can sit in that set and say, and breathe, and be like, can I do 2 more? Or am I just being lazy and I want to stop at 8?
Yeah.
Right? What does that look like? And so some of that mental toughness and that mental resilience, you will build as you exercise. Should I stop at 3 miles or should I run 4? Should I chill at this 11-minute mile pace, or should I try to speed up to 10:30 or 10?
All that is practice.
Yeah.
And if you aren't aware of those pathways, then you're not getting any benefit of it. So the whole point of building these better habits is so that way you can create that opportunity to either listen to your feelings or choose a higher road.
Yep.
That's it. If you have more of those in the day, you just get more practice in.
Yeah. And I mean, so many people have said it, like, your workout, if you work out hard enough, like, that'll be the hardest thing you experience all day. So everything else will be easy. Yeah. All these other little decisions you're trying to make will be easy, because nothing is as hard as fucking squatting when you don't want to squat anymore, or pushing when you don't want to push anymore, or pulling when you don't want to pull anymore, or holding a plank for 30 seconds longer when you thought you were going to fail 30 seconds ago.
Well, I got a message for all the parents so we can wrap it up. Right now we live in an era where all the this generation growing up is just being overparented. But then our parents are wanting our kids to be more resilient, more tough, more gritty. And we can't build gritty, resilient children if we can't let them handle adversity on their own. Because you're always looking to save the day for them and come up with excuses. But what you don't realize is you're robbing and you're stealing the opportunity for them to be resilient. And so parents, while you're still, taking care of them, your job is to put them into positions where they're going to be stretched, where they're going to have to struggle. And it's the hardest thing to do as a parent. You don't want to see your kids, which is why it's hard. You don't want to see your kids in pain. You don't want to see your kids struggle. And you're always looking to lighten the load for them. And if for any parent out there, I guess the best strategy is just to ask yourself a different question. Instead of looking to lighten the load for them, what can we do better to make them stronger, to handle the load?
Well, it's, who said it? It was
It's me.
Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay.
Morgan Freeman and Bruce Almighty. And I think it's Bruce Almighty. And he's like, if you wanted to make someone stronger, would you give them strength or would you give them like opportunities to be strong?
Yeah.
If you wanted to give someone patience,
Oh, yeah, I remember that quote.
Would you make their life easier or would you give them opportunities to be patient, right? And so I think oftentimes, like from a parenting standpoint and from a spousal standpoint, we want our spouse or we want our kids to be successful, so we just kind of want to do it for them, or we want to immediately place them into this successful environment instead of letting them grow into it.
Yeah.
And so, and again, it's like, I don't want anyone to cause, my kids harm. And so any threat, whether it's a teacher, whether it's a coach, whether it's a friend, whether it's whatever, the parent steps in and it's just like, just let the kid go through it. If it's not a life or death situation, just let the kid go through it, and you can coach them through it.
Coach them, support them.
But
let them take ownership.
Yeah, give them feedback, give them options, give them maybe thought processes they haven't thought about yet or whatever, but then let them go back and do it.
You have two types of parents. You have, my kid's struggling in school. He says, hey, my teacher isn't giving me all the resources to be successful. All right. That's that one parent. Then you got two different types of parents. You're going to have one who's going to go out and email the teacher, hey, how come you're not giving our kids the resources to be successful? He's not understanding, that's your fault. And then you have the other parent. And I had this conversation with this parent before, and she's all like, no, wait a minute. What are you doing to get the extra credit for you can learn better? That's not the teacher's responsibility. The teacher's responsibility is to lay it all out for all of you guys. And if you can't understand it, you have to own it. Yep. Do you need to go to tutoring? Do you need to go get extra help? Or do you need to ask the teacher some very specific questions of like, hey, I don't understand. Can you stop real quick? That person right there who puts the ownership on her kid, but gives them the resources and shows them all the different routes that he could take to own it, that kid is going to build resilience. That kid is going to become gritty. That kid is going to build mental toughness. Mentally tough people ask questions.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw a lot of that in college. I was never the question person. I was never the one to question things. I was always quiet. I was always in class, just minding my own business. But I would see college kids asking questions. Hey, professor, I don't get this. Hey, I tried it this way, it didn't work. What about that? What can I do differently? Hey, this doesn't make sense to me, right? It happens in college. It can happen anywhere, but it happens in college, I think, more than I saw it in high school. In high school, it was just like, check the boxes. Did you do your homework?
Well, you cared about what other people thought. And if you feel like you're going to look stupid, you're mentally weak. And so you're not going to ask it. If you're mentally strong, you don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about. You're going to ask the question because you still have to do a job.
Right. And so I think again, we need to build that it's okay to ask questions or it's okay to ask for help earlier in life. Because I think oftentimes kids, athletes, they just put their head down, they do whatever the coach says, they do whatever the teacher says, and they never actually look up to see where they're at, what they're doing, are they failing, are they succeeding, and why are they failing or succeeding? And so again, the second parent of figuring out, hey, you're failing? Oh, why? How can we get better? What can we ask? What resources can we pull? How can we be resilient in this failure instead of just going to blame the teacher? Because now you just showed your kid, one, it's okay to fail. Two, blame somebody else.
Yeah.
It's a bad pattern to get into. And so, again, if you're a parent who's just going to consistently fight these battles, and I see it with spouses, with my clients, husbands that I've never talked to will come message me on behalf of their wife. And I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, I will not talk to you, right? Like, you're not my client. You're not paying me. I could care two shits about, you can go talk to your wife about how to come back to me and ask these certain questions or bring these problems to me, but I will not talk to you.
Your business is different. You deal with adults. They should all have ownership. I deal with children, high school athletes who are still trying to develop. And so that means I got to deal with parents. And I'm just thinking at this point because, 20% of my parents have victim mentalities. They'll come up with excuses. My program is built to stretch your children for them to struggle. You cannot ace my class, my program. It is not meant for you to ace my program because if you do, it levels up. And I'm going to stretch you and make you feel very uncomfortable. I'm also going to give you all the resources and tools to be successful. But I come across when I give them the score of their athlete, and every now and then I'll get a parent blaming all the excuses of why their athletes are doing what they know they should be doing. All the excuses, or blaming me that I'm not giving them the resources. And I'm like, listen, there's like 40 something athletes in here. They all have the same shit that your kid has, but they're all progressing. They're all moving a little bit forward. They're all not coming up with excuses, and they're all learning to handle adversity. But I'm thinking I need to put like a filter process before you can even purchase my program. I need to filter the parents and just, like have disclaimer, your kid is going to struggle a lot. And if you can't handle that, you don't sign up for this program because this was meant specifically to make your kids struggle. And then I give them the tools and resources of how to handle it. Yeah. Because a lot of parents can't handle their kids in my program failing.
I mean, we do the same. When we just launched 112 people in a challenge, and they all get the same resources, they all get the same tools, they all get the same app, they all get the same recipe books. Some people will lose 20 to 30 pounds in the next 8 weeks. Some people will gain 5 pounds. And the people who gain 5 pounds, the meal plan wasn't built for me. Oh, this didn't work. The app sucks. This, but and I'm like,
my job's hard.
This person just lost 20 pounds.
I have kids.
Bro,
I have this medical situation. So, like literally, so does everyone else. And somebody probably has it even worse and still getting the job done. That's always my frame of mindset. Yeah. Always. If I feel like, man, I'm really struggling, and I hear that little voice, I just tell myself, man, somebody has way more shit than I do and still getting it done. Then it makes me feel like a bitch, and I'm like, don't like that feeling. Let's go put more work in.
I love it. Let's wrap it up, man.
Wrap it up, brother.
All right, so I think key takeaways relentless, resilient, and resourceful. All comes back to you. All comes back to keep going. All comes back to pause, breathe, look at your options in front of you. Don't take the easy way out. Take the spot that's going to challenge you. Parents, spouses, clients, stop playing victim. Stop trying to fight battles for other people. Let them go for themselves. Let them battle themselves. Guide them, help them, support them. Don't do it for them. That's all I got.
Yeah, I would just say, man, when you have that mindset and you start learning to build that winner mentality, just understand when you lose, you win, and when you win, you win.
Love it.
It's simple.
Love it. Don't work to keep up.
Work to separate.